Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigerverse. It is Niger once again, and this is going to be another tier list. Can you believe we're here 3 months in to 2025, and we haven't done a tier list yet, but it's time to rectify that right here, right now. Of course, it is WrestleMania season, and one of my favorite seasons, but who better, more synonymous with WrestleMania than Mr. WrestleMania himself, the Heartbreak Kid, the Showstopper, the icon, the sexy boy himself, Shawn Michaels. Good old HBK or HB Shizzle. Remember when that lasted for like a week or two? Yeah, me neither. But nevertheless, we got our tires here. A lot for Shawn Michaels, so this one is probably going to go on for a little bit. But then we also have our tiers. Our top tier is Showstopper, meaning really fantastic, like really awesome looking attire. In A tier, her A tier is kind of not quite top tier, but still really, really good, really solid. B tier is kind of the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but good, okay, decent, what have you. C is kind of scraping the bottom. Only one or two things that keep it from the bottom, one or two redeeming qualities. And Heartbreak is the bottom tier, meaning very, very terrible. It's higher. Her spoiler, I don't think a whole lot are going to end up in this tier, or maybe, or probably going to end up in this tier either. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing we have is the rockers. Now, the reason I just kind of put the rockers is because there were a lot of attires. There's a lot of different colors and everything for the rockers. So we're going to kind of average them out, even them out, in a way. Hey, the rockers, very much attires or colors of the time, being very, very colorful. Also, we're going to kind of average it out and put it in B. Next up is do not want to do that. But next up is the Heartbreak Kid. So, of course, Shawn Michaels turned on his partner Mario Jannetty, and then Mario Jannetty dove through the window of the barbershop in an act of cowardice, at least according to Bobby Heenan. But nevertheless, he then became the Heartbreak Kid. Now, these ones are kind of averaged out as well, mainly because a lot of these kind of follow similar format. The main difference between a lot of his attires and the layer attires is kind of the designs, not quite the hearts just yet, but more kind of stripy kind of look. And we'll see it in here when we kind of get there, but not quite the hearts just yet, but more so kind of the stripes and on top of like various patterns such as like the white or the black or the red or even like this kind of zebra attire we have here. So we'll kind of average this out as well. A lot of these did look pretty cool. The hair and the glasses did look really cool. Honestly, the glasses kind of remind me of like the LA Knight glasses that he has nowadays. Yeah, but you are legally required to say yeah every time you mention LA Knight. But we're going to average those out as well and say B. But next up, next up is going to be the red and white. So this one, these next two, Shawn Michaels wore quite a bit. So we kind of just put them in its own category here. We're not gonna get to like a lot of specific events until a bit later on. But as for this one, this is gonna go in. Honestly, we're gonna put this one in A tier. Like the way the colors kind of blend and play with each other, really should be red, white, and black. Heck, and right off the bat, these are not all of Shawn Michaels' attires. There's a lot of them, but every single Shawn Michaels attire, it would probably take a while, if I'm being honest. But even more of a while than it's already going to take here. But seeing how the red and the white and the black play with each other there, and to see them kind of making the red within the heart itself more like a almost bordering on like pink in a way, or like a salmon in a kind of color. Admittedly, it's pretty cool and it's a pretty nice touch, so we're going to go A there. Next up is black and white. Now, a little on the basic side, a little too plain Jane, but sometimes that's okay. Sometimes, and it's something we say a lot here on the channel, sometimes less is more. And I think the black and white, I feel safe putting it in the B tier at least. He's next up though we have I think now we're getting into the actual events. Yes, so we have Survivor Series 1993, and you know what? I'm with this guy up here. Why were Shawn Michaels' pants so high at SummerSlam 93? It looks really weird, but having the silver on white certainly was a choice. It's like it doesn't totally blend in, but it does look a little bit weird, and having the high up pants is really strange. I don't quite know if it's necessarily bottom tier. I think that's a little too harsh, but I think I am, because I think the silver kind of gives a little bit of pop. But I think I am going to, on that merit, at least put it in C. So C tier for that. Next up, though, is WrestleMania 10, iconic ladder match with Razor Ramon there, which I reviewed last year, if I'm not mistaken, if not in 2023, but I believe it was last year. So if you haven't already, go check out that review. It is from a while ago, but nevertheless, as for this attire, having the white and the red hearts with the kind of tiger stripe, I guess, design with like the red and the black, I think is pretty cool. And the red definitely having it be in that position that it's in, I think is a really nice touch. So I think this one's going to go in. I'm gonna put in A or B. And he did kind of change up the hair a little bit as well. Hell, kind of touched up, kind of a different style of mullet in a way. I think I'm gonna go with B. I think I'm going to go with B. I don't necessarily want to put it in A, but I think I feel comfortable putting it in B. Next up though is next up is the Royal Rumble 1995. So kind of similar to the red and white. This one having like the kind of tiger stripe again, or I guess this one is more like zebra kind of inspired in the hearts with the white knee pads. I think having the white knee pads has to go along with it, I think is really cool. Well, very nice attire though. I think. Do I think it's enough for A? I don't fully know. Having kind of just the black hand wraps instead of like the custom kind of ones, which it looks like he did have for a little bit. He didn't have like different color ones or like the ones with the hearts on it until a little bit later on. It is really nice. So I think I'm gonna go with. You know what? I think I'm going to be generous. I think I'm going to go with A. It does look very, very nice. Okay, so I am going to give it the generosity. I'm going to give it the courtesy. And I'm going to put it in A. Next up, though, is WrestleMania 11. And the Diesel match. Now, this one, I'm kind of similar to this one, except having the red and white zebra design and having it in the knee pads as well is a really nice touch, and having the red boots along with it. It almost, admittedly, kind of bordering on eyesore territory a little bit. But I think otherwise, having the black to kind of dull it down, and the way the white and the red are incorporated, I think definitely save it. Like, I think red is one that you is a color, or depending on how you use it, that if used incorrectly, I think does kind of make it not work. Just ask the original Universal Championship. But that being said, I think I'm going to put this one in B as well. Well, next up though is like this one on like how the black and the white kind of play along with it, and how it's more of like a muted red versus this one being a bit more on the bit brighter, or something like that. But next up is SummerSlam 1995, the blue attire. Now, Oh, this one is pretty cool. A lot of people really like this attire, or would like the blue, who kind of tiger slash like zebra stripes, and having like the blue hearts and like the white and everything. Now blue on blue, but like colors on top of colors. I think if done right, I think you're able to really make it work. And I think it does kind of work because the one in the hearts is kind of a lighter blue, who not almost bordering on like baby blue, who or almost like a not quite. I think more baby blue, who not quite. I think if it was like powder blue, I think it would work even better. But I think this one is still really cool. Well, and I do like it. Blue is kind of a cooler color, so that one having a good amount of blue, I think you can get away with there. So this one, I think I'm gonna put an A. I think it is still really really cool and very very nice. But next up is WrestleMania 12 of the white and gold attire, and also shout out to that awesome, iconic zipline Shawn Michaels entrance for this match, that being the Iron Man match with Bret Hart. Or also kind of an unrelated note. For WrestleMania reviews, this one, the Iron Man match, almost made the cut this year, but unfortunately so maybe next year. But this one is still really nice as well. The gold and the black, kind of, and kind of like a silver, having like the silver and gold, I think works in comparison to like the white and the black. And so this one, very phenomenal. A lot of people love this attire, and I kind of do as well. You know what? Screw it. This one, I think, is our first showstopper tier. Is a really, really awesome attire. And Shawn, as you see, does have some really, really good attires. Next up, though, is Survivor Series 1996. I know this isn't the best angle to have this attire, but screw it. I couldn't resist, but this one kind of similar in a way to this attire, except with the zebra stripes. I think the zebra stripes just give it even more that kind of pop, but at the same time, it also does kind of clash a little bit. It does kind of throw things off a smidge. It's not awful. Well, in fact, far from it. I think I'm gonna put an A, but compared to the other one, just having the solid white versus having with the zebra stripes, I think a little too much going on. But nevertheless, I am still going to put it in A there. Next up, though, is the Royal Rumble 1997, the Texas attire. This one is really cool, with like the red and the hearts being in kind of the Texas flag, with the blue, the white, and the red, because we are in San Antonio. It is technically right on red, but I think I'll allow it. But this one is a really nice attire as well. Don't quite know if it's showstopper tier, but I am going to at least put it in A. So the A tier is kind of filling up, as you can see, but I am going to put it in A tier there. But next up is King of the Ring 1997, or as it's referred to as the video game in the video games, Shawn Michaels 97. And so this one, I am going to kind of shrink it down just a smidge so you can see the whole thing there. There we go. Oh, thank you. But this one, I do like the red. This is pretty much how it looked in real life. I went with the video game one because this is the cleanest looking image I could find that shows off like the whole attire so you can see. And the boots, we're not talking about the boots as much because they pretty much for the most part stay the same. But having the gray and the black hiker stripe is pretty nice. Having like the red hearts is pretty cool as well. The gray on gray, I think because these two are the same shade of gray, it kind of falters a little bit, but otherwise this is still pretty cool for the most part. So this one I am going to go with B on this one. So we're going to put it in B tier there. Next up though is I think I did something. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, so next up is going to be One Night Only, 1997. So, this one being the red tiger stripes and having the red in the heart, having kind of the gray outline, and I think is pretty cool. Well, kind of reminds me of like this one a little bit. It although having and definitely also reminds me of like this one, and I think mainly this one, but kind of different colors. I think having that play up on it, that variation of it, is pretty cool. Well, but otherwise, I don't love it, but it is pretty nice. So it is going to go in B. And do keep in mind, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but do keep in mind these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is completely fine. But next up is going to be Survivor Series 1997, and where Shawn Michaels just won the WF Championship, and nothing else of note or controversy happened on that night. It was just a regular match between he and Bret Hart, and nothing else of note and controversy, which led to someone being gone from WWE for a number of years, jumping ship to WCW, and requiring Shawn and Bret to bury the hatchet. Hit about a decade later. None of that happened on that night. Trust me. But anyway, as for the attire itself, kind of similar to the black and white, except having the red head in the hearts to really add that pop of color, I think is really cool. Well, and I think just did something there. There we go. Just having the black and white is nice. It's like fine. It does the job. That's why I did put it in B. But then having it with that extra pop of color, I think really elevates it. So it is going to go in A tier. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 14. Shawn Michaels' last match before his retirement. So. As for this one, on the DX inspired attire, like the red and blue over within the hearts is really cool, and having the red tights, having the black X over them, and the lowercase white D in the center of each of the hearts, I think is also a very nice touch. And of course, Shawn did style his hair differently. He had kind of the long braid, but this one is pretty kick-ass as well. So this one I am also going to put in A. So really solid attire to retire on, at least initially. But he would end up making his way back. But in the meantime, we do have a couple attires. There's the first being the referee attire for Shawn Michaels, because I just had to. Like, you had to. Like pretty much iconic Shawn Michaels attire with the shirt and the booty shorts. Or it's a look that's been replicated by both CM Punk and MJF. So, oh man, CM Punk and MJF do have quite a bit of alike, as you can see. But as for his is kind of goofy, but it's also kind of iconic. So I can't hate it. It is not a whole lot going on other than like the shirt and the booty shorts, but I am still gonna at least put it in. B. I was tempted to put in A for iconicness, as for how iconic it is, but I have to be as objective as possible. But also it is gonna go in B. But yeah, one more time for the referee outfit for Shawn. But next up, and he would wear these even more, like he would be in like other companies with like a traditional referee shirt, but he still had those booty shorts. But next up, NWO. Shawn. You remember when Shawn was part of the NWO? Yeah, me neither. But nevertheless, Shawn, he did kick Booker T out of the group, and I believe the Big Show, if I'm not mistaken. But Shawn in the NWO shirt, and the like the flat back hat, that is pretty cool. Well, admittedly, not a whole lot going on, but seeing Shawn in an NWO shirt, if you showed Shawn Michaels in an NWO shirt to somebody in 1997, it would blow their mind. And that being said, it is just kind of basic, so we're gonna put it in B. It's not really, it's barely an attire, but I figured I'd have to put it in nevertheless. But next up is the official return later on in 2002, that being the unsanctioned match against Triple H and him in the jeans. Now, Shawn did come out with the shirt or with the Bible verse on it as well, but as for just the jeans, it's kind of a basic look, but it's a look for a fight. But otherwise, it's not a super flashy look. The belt buckle and the boots is also a very nice touch, but otherwise, it's gonna go in just B tier for me. He nothing super special, but it is at the very least going to go in B tier, that is. But next up is Survivor Series 2002. Next up is WrestleMania 19. Now this one is pretty cool. Kind of if you look at the other tires, kind of a callback in a way to this attire, or this attire with the red and the black. Admittedly, a little bit heavy on the red. Not enough to really make me hate it, but quite a bit of red there. I think if it was inverted, like the colors were inverted, I think it'd work a little bit more. But otherwise, I think this one's going to go in. It is a really cool attire, but I think I am still gonna put it in B. Yep, there we go. Oh, so I am gonna put it in B. Next up though, it is going to be the Royal Rumble 2005. So similar to his other ones, except kind of inverted colors in a way. That being like the white and black in the heart, and then the red outline. And I think having that as well, kind of in a similar vein to like the Survivor Series 1997 one, and I think is pretty cool. I don't know if I necessarily want to. Actually, you know what? I am gonna put in A. I think it does work just like the Survivor Series '97 one. And but next up though is WrestleMania 21. After years of wearing tights, Shawn Michaels officially busts out the chaps. The full-on pants and everything. And now, pretty much, kind of a little anecdote. Because I played the SmackDown vs. Raw games as a kid, more specifically 2006, 2007, or 2007. I did play 2006, but that was later on in life. But because I played like 2007, 2008, and 2009, this attire is pretty much burned into my memory because they literally reused this like every single year. I think they ended up reusing it, if I'm not mistaken, for SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 as well. Or I think by SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, I know 2011, Shawn had the DX attire, like the DX Army attire, but we'll get to that. But I think Shawn, did Shawn Michaels have a different attire by the time we got to 2010? Yeah, he did, but yeah, for like, I had to look it up on my phone there, but I kind of just looked up on the thing, but nevertheless, but for like 3 years straight, I think this one was in Smack vs. Raw 2006 as well, but yeah, so for like 3 years straight, they kept reusing this attire for Shawn Michaels. That being said, it is a really Oh, that's just 2006. I gotta look up Shawn Michaels. No, okay, that one was the tights. So that one was the Royal Rumble attire that we just looked at for Shawn in that game. But yeah, that being said, this is still a really cool looking attire with like the different designs throughout. How kind of the shape of the cross. Of course, this was the time when Shawn Michaels became a born again Christian. So we're gonna see crosses like this throughout his attires. There's the heart on the side, and it's kind of the same on the other side. It's pretty cool as well. Also, it is a really awesome design. So much so, I might have to put it in Showstopper or yeah, you know what? It's going to Showstopper. Maybe it's because I played the SmackDown vs. Raw games growing up, but it is a really good looking attire in my opinion. Like really cool look. But next up though is Backlash 2005. Kind of similar to this one, except a lot more the red and everything. It's kind of more like a dulled out red, so I think it works. Having the black and the white as well. Really plays well with it, I think. And, so this one's and don't know if I quite like it as much as the other one, but I am still at the very least going to put it in. No, oh, I'll put it in A. Hey, it's still a really good look for Shawn there. But next up is SummerSlam 2005, a match that's not known for Shawn Michaels' attire. That's probably the least of their worries with Shawn Michaels flopping around all over the place. But as for this attire, black and white heights, a bit on the simpler side, but the designs throughout I think really help out. And then having this part be the white, and then having like the main chaps part itself being black, I think really helps. Don't know if it's quite A, but it is still honestly, now I think about it, I might have to put some in between tiers because excuse me, sometimes I'm at the crossroads between like A tier and B tier, or excuse me, or B and C, stuff like that. And so let me know, do you guys want to see some like kind of in between kind of tiers? But next up is Unforgiven 2005. So similar to this one, except all black with like the white and silver, or the white / silver. I do like the designs that they have. Like Shawn with the chaps, I think especially got even more creative with the designs for his gear. So I do dig it. But as for this, I am going to still at least put it in B. Although I do acknowledge it is very, very nice. That's why I think I should have some in betweens, because those are kind of like the two I put. Those are B's, but I think they're like high B's. So let me know if you guys want some in between tiers. I might do it for the next tier list. I'm not sure what the next tier list is going to be just yet, but let me know. But next up is WrestleMania 22, who in the match against Vince McMahon, and it's a match. This match I haven't seen its entirety in a while, but this one I thought about it making the cut this year, but I think I'll probably save it for next year as well. But as for this one, the red and the gray is really cool. Well, and having like the black and the silver is really nice as well. Well, not super crazy with like a lot of designs and everything, such as like this one or like this one and stuff like that. But I do think it's still really cool. Well, and the gray mixing with the red, I think, gives the actual little pop up. So this one, I think I'm gonna put in A. This one is going to go in A for me. But next up is Vengeance 2006. The official return of D-Generation X. And admittedly, Shawn's DX gear was pretty cool. Well, with like the green X's going throughout. It is on the lighter green side. I'm more of like a darker green kind of guy myself, but I know DX, the logo's like the lighter green. But this one is still really cool. Well, like having the X's go throughout is really nice, especially on like the vest and everything. I haven't shown a whole lot of like the vests and stuff like that as well. Shawn has some really cool like extras with his gear, so there's like the chains and the vests and stuff like that. But this one I am still gonna put in A. There we go, and I forgot to Yeah, there we go. It's gonna go in A for me. But next up is SummerSlam 2006, having the D and the X there, just a large DX, and not as creative as this one, but still pretty cool, I would say. So this one, I am going to go with B tier for this one. So this one's going to go in B right there. But next up, we have Unforgiven 2006. Now, pretty much the same as this one, except not having the green fill in, instead just having the green outline instead. And I think this one is a bit on the lighter, almost towards like the yellow side, at least compared to this one. I think between the two, I do kind of prefer this one, but still just kind of okay. Still just kind of okay. Okay, so we're going to go and B for that. Yes, I know I say sometimes less is more, and I think it's definitely the case. It's not a total eyesore, but I don't dig them as much as like this one. But that's kind of just me. But next up is WrestleMania 23. He might not have necessarily the DX gear, but he did come out to the DX music. I think I forgot to mention that when I reviewed John Cena versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. So if you haven't already, go check out that review nevertheless. But this attire does kick all kinds of ass with like the red and the white and the red crosses throughout. This is a fantastic looking. This is a really good looking gear in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite Shawn Michaels gears. Probably a lot of people's favorite Shawn Michaels gear. One of a lot of people's favorite Shawn Michaels gears. So you know what? That one's gonna go in Showstopper because that gear kicks all kinds of heavy duty booty. But next up is the Royal Rumble 2008. So having the kind of like beige, maybe he kind of cream color her with like the brown and the black. I think it works. It certainly he much better use of brown than the other gear that will not be mentioned here. But this one, I think this one I'm gonna put in B. It's still really nice. Next up though is WrestleMania 24, and I'm pretty sure this is the super kick that I don't think this is a super kick that ended the match between Shawn and Ric Flair. Ric Flair's retirement match, but this one is still really nice. It's like the red. It's got the black with like the crosses throughout again. It's got like the jewels adorning it and stuff like that. This one is pretty cool. So because of that, WrestleMania 24. This one's going to go in. This one I think is gonna go in B. That one I'm gonna put in B. Next up though is the Great American Bash 2008. So this one, instead of having the little cross, it has one like giant cross, also with the red, almost like maroon color. Admittedly, I'm not a super big fan of this one. And I am a big fan of the rivalry that Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho had, but not the biggest fan of the gear, I must admit. But it's not horrible, so I think I am going to at least put it in C. It's just kind of it's just kind of eh. But next up is WrestleMania 25. First of all, obviously this is part of it. Probably one, but the entrance by Shawn Michaels, him ascending down from like the heavens in a way with like the stage and everything. Probably one of my favorite favorite WrestleMania entrances. As for this attire, it is also very, very beautiful with like the white and the gold and the black throughout and the beautiful design on there. This is a very fantastic looking attire. So this one's going to Showstopper. It is a very nice attire in my opinion. Next up though is the DX Army attire. So DX is his other reunion that they did in 2009, and admittedly was pretty cool. Now I think this one's kind of similar to another one, but I think Shawn only had like 2 or 3 of these. They didn't change that much, but kind of the camo with the green and everything, admittedly, was pretty cool. Well, even if that DX run was questionable, but I'm gonna be generous to the gear. I'm going to put it in A. Next up, though, is WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels' retirement, so similar idea to this one, except with the black and the brown instead of like unlike the dark brown, I should say, instead of like the gold and everything. And admittedly, between the two, I definitely prefer this one more. But this one's not bad. This one is still pretty cool. Well, I think I'll still at least put it in A. But compared to the other one, it definitely can't hold a candle. Well, and last, but certainly not least, even if the match definitely could fall in that category, Crown Jewel 2018. The less is said about this match, the better. But as for the attire, it's not a whole lot going on. Like, the jewels and everything is nice, and it doesn't have, but it doesn't do anything super creative. It's kind of muted. They definitely didn't care when it came to the in-ring. Why should they care when it comes to the gears? So this one, I don't know if it's necessarily bottom tier, but it's going in C at least. His C tier match, F tier or C tier attire, F tier match. I know I gotta review the match at some point, but I really don't want to. And I really don't want to watch the match, but nevertheless, that's going to do it for these rankings. So to recap, in Showstopper tier, we have WrestleMania's 12, 21, 23, and 25. In A tier, we have the red and white. We have the Royal Rumble and SummerSlam from 95, the Survivor Series from 96, the Royal Rumble and Survivor Series from 97, WrestleMania 14, the Royal Rumble and Backlash from 2005, WrestleMania 22, Vengeance 06, the DX Army, and WrestleMania 26. In B tier, we have the Rockers, the Heartbreak Kid, Black and White, WrestleMania's 10, 11, King of the Ring and One Night Only from 97, the Referee, the NWO, SummerSlam from 2002, WrestleMania 19, SummerSlam and Unforgiven of 05, SummerSlam and Unforgiven of 06, the Royal Rumble 2008, WrestleMania 24, and the Great American Bash from 2008. In C tier, we have Survivor Series 93 and Crown Jewel 2018, and in Heartbreak, where it belongs, because that higher was heartbreaking to see because of how terrible it was, Survivor Series 2002. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see the drops and so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this tier list, my rankings. Do you agree or disagree? And what is your favorite and least favorite Shawn Michaels attire? As well as what's your least favorite and least favorite Shawn Michaels WrestleMania match? But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.